Is this not like the cutest intro to a song you have ever heard? Oh my god. Hi, how's everybody doing? Okay. Well, that's working. Well, now I just need to fix. So I got myself a headset, right? And Nope. Where's the button? You guys get to watch me like fix this now real quick because I did not realize this wasn't cooperating. Please? No? Hang on. We'll go back to that. See if it'll show it to me now. Oh, come on. let's try the old-fashioned turn it off and turn it on again. How about now? All right, now it's working. Now we're rolling. Hi. Now I exist again. Welcome back to the Gilded Paladin's Legacy. This is a novel I've been working on from our D&D campaign, basically. I've been trying to turn it into something else. Well, not something else. I'm trying to turn it into a novel. Because, well, I like the story. And it's good. So, I want to share it with you. The Cheese Puffs is our D&D group. And everybody's social links are going to be down below. If you hit the High Winds link, you can snag everybody's like information and come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. So this is the, ooh, let me go ahead and zoom this out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. This is the continent that this campaign takes place on. We don't leave the continent in this campaign, we leave the continent in the next campaign. This is an original map that I drew and edited and took feedback from everybody else on the thing, on the map. Feedback, yes. So it's a combination of, like, all of us kind of made this, honestly. All of us did. It's a group effort between the players and the DM, which I'm learning that's not a regular thing in D&D. And quite honestly, I absolutely adore our DM, Sky, for putting up with me, honestly. Oh, Sky is so wonderful to us, honestly. Best DM ever. So anyway, the Gilded Paladin's Legacy. I can go ahead and read what I've got so far for Chapter 1. I feel like I did that last time, but it has been a bit. Let's see here. We'll go back up top. So, the Gilded Paladin's Legacy, Chapter 1, A Letter to a Loved One. It had been an awful trip. The last one of the winter before spring really started taking hold. Alfred had traveled from Silverhorn north to Canaline to deliver a shipment of glass in exchange for coal. On the way there, his wagon had gotten damaged. It didn't stop the trip, but certainly slowed them down, so the traders were late arriving. Then, once they got there, a storm had settled in over the mountain range and nearly sealed him in Canaline till spring. We're gonna get rid of that. They repaired his wagon and finally got him and the others on their way nearly 3 days late. It had been a wet, muddy trip back as the last snowstorm of the season melted. All the exhausted dwarf wanted at this point was a hot bath and his mother's mushroom stew. He left his cart and horse at the guild house, since they technically belonged to the guild and not Alfred himself. Finally, he was on the final stretch to home. His pack thrown over his shoulder, he walked through the stone streets of Silverhorn, up the carved steps, and through the gate to his house. He knocked, expecting his younger sister Sig to come bounding out. When she didn't, the dwarf's dark brow knit together. Maybe they just didn't hear him. If Sig were in the basement practicing, it makes sense. He reached deep into his pocket and fished out a bronze key to open the door. Stale air rushed out past him as he pulled the door open, revealing nothing but darkness inside. He stumbled in, searching the carved-out walls. Cold stone bit at his fingertips until he found the crevice shelf where they kept the oil lamp. The crevice shelf they kept the oil lamp on. Yes. Words. This is why you read things out loud. Anyway. Thank the gods there was oil in it. The tinderbox was kept with it, so he quickly grabbed that as well and used the quickly fading light outside to get his oil lamp lit. The lamp illuminated the living room. The hearth was dark, no embers he could see at this time of year. And this time of year his mother would have the fire going constantly. The wet cold of spring was never good for her hip. This wasn't right. He set his pack on the couch and stepped through into the kitchen. His heavy traveling boots echoed off the stone around him. The kitchen was also dark. He lit the lamp on their table and looked around. The oven was cold, no embers there either. There were no eggs on the counter, and Avard could only smell the stale hint of salted meats. His family normally had rather fragrant foods. Or at least the scent of that morning's coffee. Or at least the scent of that morning's coffee lingering in the air. Worry was starting to take hold as Avard's breath became shorter. His worst fear was beginning to creep up on him. In what felt like 2 strides, the dark-haired dwarf had left the kitchen and crossed the house to his mother's suite. Halfrida had moved in with him after an injury made it very difficult for her to travel, let alone fight again. He knocked once, hoping perhaps he was wrong. Perhaps his mother and sister were inside, laughing at some joke they were trying to pull on him. Silence was all that greeted him. The wood under his knuckles only echoed for him. Let's trade this too. Only the wood under his knuckles echoed for him. He pushed the door in and looked around the small sitting room that served as his mother's entryway. From there, a bedroom, a study, and a private bathroom had been carved out for her. Shadows danced around him as Avard stepped into her space. He didn't frequent these rooms. He and his mother weren't exactly close. Her hearth was also empty. Her hearth in here was also empty. There was the hint of her perfume. Lilies. Due to personality conflicts between Avard and his mother, Halfrida had decided to go back to her Paladin ways. This is where I stopped! Okay, so I rewrote pretty much that entire front end. Because the way that it kind of dove into it right at first, I felt like it was taking you in too fast without setting the setting. So I'm hoping that front end does a little bit better job putting the setting together. Let me know in the comments what you think. If I need to change things, whatever we gotta do to make it better than it is, because it can always be better. Let's see here. Boop. Let's see. Oh, actually, I have a button for this. Ha ha ha. Alright. Shadows dance around him as Avard stepped into her space. He didn't frequent these rooms often. He didn't frequent these rooms. He and his mother weren't exactly close. Her hearth in here was also empty. There was the hint of her perfume. Lilies. Apparently I spelled lilies wrong. Lilies. He stepped further into the room, looking down at the coffee table and the last paper his mother had sitting on top. She always made sure to get that day's news. She practically obsessed over it. The date on the topmost news bulletin was a week ago? Panic was itching at the base of Avrid's neck, threatening to creep further north into his forefront thoughts. And I think that will lead better into... Hey, there's a little bit of Christmas in there. I really like this musician, by the way. His name is Malcolm Horn. And he plays on Twitch quite a bit. You should find him there. He's also on Spotify. That link is down below to play his stuff. Do it, because it's good. I love it. It's like really nice lo-fi without being too repetitive. I just really enjoy it. Anyway. No, we're not ready yet. No, we're not there yet. Okay. Push through into her bedroom. It could nearly be. There we go. That's the words I'm looking for. Hoping beyond hope this was a joke. It could nearly be compared to a prayer, if Avrid ever prayed. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. elemental ones. Ba, ba, ba. There we go. So now we have built up Avrid's worry, I think, a little bit more. Because, like, he's walked into his mother's rooms, basically, and everything is packed away. Everything's dark. Everything's cold. Nobody's been in this room. And the last paper on her desk is from a week ago. Yeah. So, he's about to step into his mother's study. I keep forgetting about that button. That button right there, it's a button and it does the thing I need to remember to do it. Anyway. Alright, so does that one... Ah, see, this is the original version. I do like... There we go. Ooh. Hello! I did! I hit double digits! I have 10 subscribers now! I'm so excited! It looks like somebody subbed, like, after I finished streaming the other day, so that means somebody found me and decided to like me, and I'm excited. So excited! Today we're working on this thing I'm writing. Let's see. The hearth was... There we go. There we go. Because, I'm sorry, if somebody keeps the house warm on a regular basis, you walk in and the fireplace is swept out. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have him... No laughing. Nothing. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Ooh, I do like that one. There we go. I think I like it better than this one. There we go. We're going to get rid of that line because it's kind of redundant. What felt like 2 strides, a dark-haired dwarf had left the kitchen and crossed the house to his mother's suite. Yes. Okay. I do like this part. No! There we go. I like this section. So we're going to bring that back up here. Nope. There we go. Boop. All right. There we go. All right. He pushed through into her bedroom, hoping beyond hope this was just a joke. It could nearly be compared to a prayer, if Avrid ever prayed. Inside, he once again found no one. The room was dark, the fireplace empty and cold. Halfrida's bed was neatly made up, nothing was out of place, but her bed was made with her summer bedding, far too light for the current weather. The dwarf's mouth twitched under his beard. She wouldn't have. He went to her vanity, looking at her personal items. Nothing she used regularly was there. Not her hair combs or her beads. Beard beads. There were some pieces, but none of her sentimental ones. The blood in his ears was starting to roar over the sounds of the empty house. He could feel himself starting to chill as he reached a shaky hand to open his mother's study. Let's see. He didn't even remember walking over there. She wouldn't have. She couldn't have. He stepped into the room, holding his breath. Trophies lined the wall, staring down at him with glaring, cold eyes. The taxidermists were always bound to leave the animals snarling. It made the rather tall dwarf feel like a trapped rabbit just to be in the room. He would never understand how his mother found this comfortable. An immensely stubborn northern dwarf, Halfrida Gilded was a retired hero. Some would say one of the greatest, if he ever actually cared for their opinion. Even in retirement, she had a penchant for continuing to find trouble. To say his mother was a difficult woman was to immensely understate her personality. You know what? We're going to actually swap this up here, because I know we said all he wanted was his mother's stew. We're going to change this to his sister's mushroom stew. Because Avrid and his mom have... There's some beef. There is about a 1,200-pound beef there. Alright, back up here. Even in retirement, she had a penchant for continuing to find trouble. To say his mother was a difficult woman was to immensely understate her personality. He followed the snarls from creature to creature, almost distracted by the amount of teeth and rage pointed at him from the wall, until he reached the back wall of the study. The lamp almost fell from his hand as a cold chill ran down his spine. This time he couldn't blame the monsters on the wall. It was what wasn't on the wall. Behind his mother's desk was supposed to be an ornate hammer, made of steel so fine that it shone when it was polished, though it hadn't been polished in decades now. It had almost been forgotten about. It had almost faded into history. His breath was now coming in short gasps. The last time his mother had gone missing, she nearly died. He thought her dead for 2 years. Helfrida had sworn an oath after that. She'd sworn she would stay with them and be a mother. And yet, Endbringer was gone. The sound that finally escaped the dwarf's throat was somewhere between a snarl of anger and a scream of fear. His mother had taken her warhammer. Where in Tartarus had she run off to? And where was Sigrid? Now we gotta go find baby carriers. Let's see. Vucky asks, how do you write openly about a murderous character without confirming their intentions till the first kill? We're gonna get there. We're getting there. Hang on. I'll show you. I'm gonna show you in a little bit. When I introduce y'all to Talia, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. There's your murderous character that nobody knows is a murderous character, because holy crap, Talia scares the daylights out of us on a regular basis! And yet we still think she's the sweetest thing in the world! And yet... Let's see... I have done other, horror rights, I suppose. I suppose I could try and find some of my stuff from college. I think I called it With Your Permission. And it was, basically, the more you read, the more you allow the character to do. So. Back to the Gilded Paladin. Alright. Let's see here. Let's just go ahead and have him race back up to... Let's turn this gray. Because that is information that I may want to put somewhere else, but I don't want it here. Let's see. Nope. 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 This was the original introduction. Well, not quite the introduction. I already cut the original introduction out. But this one feels rushed. Let's see. I do like the kitchen description out of here better, though. I do like this description of the kitchen better. So we're going to run back up here. Oh, hey, I actually have the website open there. Ha ha ha. Look at that. I forgot I did that. Hey. This is us. The Dungeons and Dragons game that went off the rails. Alright, back to this. Where did the kitchen go? The kitchen, where is it? There it is. Alright. Let's go ahead and put it there. And then make it green so that I remember that's the add-in. Kitchen. His heavy traveling boots echoed off the stone around him. The kitchen was also dark. Actually, let's move this down here. It was cold in a room that was regularly almost too warm to want to be in. Shadows bounced off the stone walls around him. He found a sink empty of dishes, a hand-carved counter wiped clean, and all the food packed away tight into the pantry. There were no fresh scents of coffee or food cooked recently, no eggs on the counter, and no bread in the box. Let's get rid of... He lit the lamp on their table and looked around. No. I want those gone. Boop. The oven was cold, no embers there either. There were no eggs on the counter. And no bread in the box. Oh, wait. Oxford! There we go. And Avard could only smell the stale hint of salted meat. His family normally had rather fragrant foods, or at least the scent of that morning's coffee lingering in the air. Alright. Yeah, I'm liking that. We can go ahead and... Boop! That's there now. Alright. Looked in the kitchen. That's kitchen. I like this. Back up here. Where did he go into? He stepped into the room. That's the study. Alright, let's put it here. And then we're going to turn it green again. Pushed through into the bedroom, hoping beyond hope it was a joke. Maybe a prayer. Inside, he found no one. There we go. The curtains were drawn. And the bed was made. Let's go ahead and put that. Wait. There we go. There we go. The curtains were drawn and the bed was made, not with her warm sheets as would be expected for the chilly nights of spring, but with her thin summer sheets. Yes. We're gonna leave that there. Boop. The room was dark, the fireplace empty and cold. We'll just put this. Nothing was out of place but her bed. No. Actually, I kind of like the new one we wrote better, interestingly enough. So we're gonna get rid of that. Alright, moving on. Let's see. Turn vanity, back in the sitting room, the attached study. Lamp fell and bringer's gone. There we go. So actually, this is the worst part about being a writer. Is when you do this. 893 words. Compared to... Huh! Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely better. Alright. Not that word count means... Whoopsies. Not that word count has anything to do with the amount of detail you provide, but hey. The fact that I think we've got more in there, and we increased our word count. I'm good with both of those things. Alright. So we're gonna get this. Actually put it down. Ooh, let's put it here for now, just to get it out of the way. Alright. extra space there. A new, more raw wave of panic washed over him as his worst nightmare came to haunt him in the waking hours. Throughout Sig's childhood, his mother had filled her with stories of grandeur, fueling her inherited wanderlust. But Sig was smart. Sig was in college. Sig wouldn't just run away from that. She had responsibilities. He didn't remember leaving his mother's study, but he was climbing the limestone stairs up to Sig's room, praying she was there, hoping beyond hope. We already said that. We're getting rid of that. Ooh. To sink into his chest as well. Maybe she was asleep or out with friends. Maybe she'd decided to stay with a friend if his mother actually had left. Surely she was upstairs. He would find her waiting for him, laughing that he'd even think she'd run off. Instead, he found an empty room. Again. Her bed was also made with summer sheets. Sig's vanity was also cleared, and her loot was gone. The air was becoming thin, and the ground around him was becoming unsteady. He stumbled over to her desk to lean on the chair. What could have happened? Where was his family? Where was his baby sister? The lamplight caught an envelope on the desk, sealed with his family's crest. Rather than continue to risk a house fire, Avrid set the rattling lamp down on the desk. He settled himself into the chair, fearing his knees would give at any moment. He almost didn't want to pick up the envelope. What if it was a ransom? His family was wealthy. If his mother had put his sister in that kind of danger, he couldn't take it. He steeled himself and reached out, taking the parchment envelope in his shivering hands, turning it over to see his name scrawled across it in his sister's handwriting. He reached down to his boot and pulled out a knife, slicing the seal on the back, and pulling out the letter inside. Dearest brother, Mum knew you'd be cross if we left while you were home. We're going on a summer trip. We'll let you know where we're going. We'll let you know where we're at when we get there. Don't worry, I'll keep Mom safe. Love you, Sig. Avard read the scrap of parchment in his hands and then read it again. The crudely drawn face winking at him did not help him feel better. If his mother had convinced Sig to go on some kind of campaign, she had no idea what kind of danger that life actually held. She was an idealist. She knew the tavern tales and all the glory they claimed, but tavern tales of past heroes did not paint that life with any reality. His mother was first-hand proof of the gruesome turmoil that life invited on a person. His own mother... Let's see, their own mother... Let's go with... Actually, no, we'll leave that. Albert slammed his hand down on the desk, dust settling around him as the sound echoed through the empty house. He refused to lose another sibling because of his negligence. He should have been here to talk her out of whatever stupid idea his mother had talked her into. So, I feel like that one kind of goes a bit fast as well. So let's see if we can slow it down a bit. Hey. Da-da-da-da-da. A new, more raw wave of panic washed over him as his worst nightmare came to haunt him in the waking hours. Washed over him. Throughout Sig's childhood, his mother had filled her with stories of grandeur, fueling her inherited wanderlust. But Sig was smart. Sig was in college. His worst nightmare was coming to haunt him in the waking hours. Yes. He didn't remember leaving his mother's study, but... No. No, come on. He stormed out of his mother's study. There we go. Climbing the limestone stairs up to Sig's room. Yes. The panic in his ears was began to sink into his chest as well. Maybe she was asleep, or maybe out with friends. Maybe she decided to stay with a friend. Let's see. Maybe she was asleep or out with friends. She would be upstairs. He would find her waiting for him, laughing that he'd even think she'd run off. Instead, he found an empty room again. There we go. Cover my rear. It took him less time to investigate because he now knew exactly what he was looking for. Her bed was also made with summer sheets. Sigrid's vanity was also cleared and her loot was gone. Yes. To top it off, traveling trunk. There we go. Yes, extra commas. I'm bad at extra commas. Let's see here. To top it off, her traveling trunk that normally sat at the end of her bed was also missing. The air was becoming thin and the ground was becoming unsteady. He stumbled over to her desk to lean on the chair. What could have happened? Where was his family? Where was his baby sister? Let's see. Good. Good. That's good. I like that. Lamplight caught an envelope on the desk sealed with his family crest. What is... There we go. We're gonna... Boop! There we go. Rather than continue to risk a house fire, Offred set the rattling oil lamp on the desk. Yeah. He settled himself into the chair, fearing his knees would give at any moment. He almost didn't want to pick up the envelope. He steeled himself and reached out. Yeah, no, actually, that's probably about good. Alright. Did not... Nope. Make him feel better. That just rolls better than help him feel better. Make him feel better sounds more accurate. Let's see. If his mother had convinced Sig to go on some kind of campaign, she had no idea what kind of danger that life actually held. Sig was an idealist. She kind of danger that life actually held. Even though Sig was an idealist, she knew the tavern tales and all the glory they claimed. But tavern tales of past heroes did not paint that life with any reality. Their own mother was first-hand proof of the gruesome turmoil that life invited on a person. Yes. Alfred slammed his hand down on the desk, dust settling around him as the sound echoed through the empty house. Yeah. He refused to know his sibling because of negligence. He should have been here to talk or whatever stupid idea his mother had talked her into. Okay. Actually, that's not a bad spot to put that. Alright. Due to personality conflicts. Let's see. No, actually, this might be better off put in Amias's section. There we go. We'll put that there. And talked her into... There we go. Also, you. No highlight. Just 3 years ago, their settlement had been attacked by unknown assailants, and his twin brother had gone missing in the fray. Alfred had been delivering an order of glass at the time. I don't think that part is really needed, because regardless if Alfred had been there or not, Andor would have gone missing. Let's be honest. He's down in those caves, being a, you know, the badass that he is. Was? Maybe? Campaign 2 gets interesting, y'all. Alright. Just 3 years ago, their settlement had been attacked by unknown assailants, and his twin brother had gone missing in the fray. Let's go ahead and give us Andor's name right there. Had gone missing in the fray. They were still trying to locate him, but life still had to move forward at the same time. Seemed like every day. There we go. I need to double check Andor's class, because we've never actually met him, and we don't really have a whole lot of details about him. He's just kind of in Avred's background, and slowly coming more to the forefront as things progress. Let's see. There we go. Let's get rid of the but, because he shouldn't really start a sentence with that. We can skip it. He felt he still... let's go with... Nah, it's still... It's pretty clear that he is Ovid right there. Let's see... And we can get rid of the and. To top it off, Endbringer was gone as well. That clearly stated they weren't just spending the summer with friends on the beach. Yes. There we go. And then we can get rid of this. Nope. Go down one. Tab. Yes. How do you even look for two people who just run off? He folded the letter back up carefully, tucking it into his pocket. Don't bother catching up with them? Oh no. That was now his entire life's goal. He walked down the stairs and out of the empty house, never having taken his traveling clothes off. No point now. Let's see. He walked down the stairs. Let's see. We'll get rid of this. Swung the door open fully. He swung the front door open, fully prepared to storm out. Instead, he ran face first right into Flare. Ha ha! Let me introduce you to Flare. Flare is just openly murderous. He swung the front door open, fully prepared to storm out. Instead, he ran face first into Flare. The young bounty hunter was in their usual plate armor, helm securely in place. With the force he slammed into them, he may have actually broken his nose. Flare had once snuck into their settlement for a bounty, only to get caught by Helfrida. Rather than kick them out, Alfred's mother had offered them a meal and a place to sleep. Inevitably, the stray moved in. So, hiya, Alfred. I cannot do a Jersey accent, but Flare is supposed to have a Jersey accent. Flare's accent betrayed their less than noble birth as their voice echoed from under the helm. They rarely took it off outside of the few places they had designated as safe. I'm going to put quotes on there. The armor wasn't particularly flashy. It was plain, inornate, human-made armor. They never seemed to be able to afford a better set, or claiming they didn't need it. Or claimed. Let's keep our tenses connected here. Their rucksack was tossed over their shoulder, having just gotten off of a ship coming into Silverhorn. The stale stench of... pungent. Ugh. Yeah, that word. Thanks, Google. The pungent stench of too many bodies crammed into one boat. Let's see, of fish and too many bodies crammed into one boat was the only thing Avra could smell in his now throbbing nose. Mom and Sig are gone. Avra grunted out past his hand. Gone? Gone how? Did something happen? The rucksack was immediately on the ground. What's going on? They were practically pushing past Avrid to get in to investigate the house. I don't know. They just up and left town. Flare stopped pushing and took a step back in the doorway. Their shoulders dropped as a good amount of their concern vanished. So they're not dead. They could be. Flare crossed their arms. Avrid, it's not like your family can't travel. They won't suddenly die if they leave town. Flare had no idea who Halfrida really was. In Silverhorn, she was simply Avrid's crippled mother, who had been a paladin protecting merchant rounds and occasionally taking on a beast. Taking out a beast. Not a hero or a master beast slayer. She took her hammer. The family heirloom thing? Well, good. They've got a weapon then. Flare had no idea what the real history was behind that hammer. I have to catch up with them. Avrid started down the sidewalk toward the street. An audible sigh steamed out from inside the helm. And just where did they go? Avrid stopped, pulling the letter back out of his pocket. She doesn't say. He swore under his breath. They didn't tell you where they were going? Flare was now unsure if they should be concerned. Let's see. Was now starting to sound more concerned. Yes. Avrid shot Flare a dirty look. No, they apparently didn't. Flare, also tired from traveling and not really wanting to be Avrid's punching bag, crossed their arms. We already have crossed arms. There we go. So where would you even start to look? There was really only one person to ask. Amias. Or bring this down again. Down to about... Yay. Yeah, great. Ta-da! And then we're gonna put a big old gap there. The dwarven garrison was located below ground, where the dwarves felt the most where the dwarves were the most defensible. Most of the time, the majority of the soldiers were stationed to protect the miners from creatures living below ground in the tunnels. They were also occasionally attacked by other subterranean folk fighting over mining rights. It was in one of these fights, 3 did go missing. Yeah. It was in one of these fights 3 years ago that his twin brother Ondor had gone missing. It was shortly after that his younger brother Amias had joined the dwarven military. Avrid walked through the halls of the barracks, headed for his brother's dormitory. Being a non-dwarf, Flare wasn't allowed this deep into the settlement, so they were waiting above ground. Honestly, it was for the best, as even Avrid was starting to think the ceiling was a bit close. The stone echoed beneath his boots as he walked deeper into the mines. It was warm down here in comparison to the spring chill outside, not that it stopped his shivering. Avrid had notified Amias' commanding officer of needing to talk to him, so his younger brother was already in the room waiting for him, having been called back from patrol. The look on his face told Avrid that Amias already knew what the conversation was going to be about. The blonde officer was keeping a chair between himself and Avrid as the older dwarf entered the room. Look, Avrid, don't get mad at me. It wasn't my idea. Where did she take Sig, Amias? Avrid just crossed his arms, staring his younger brother down. Due to some personality differences between Avrid and his mother, she'd left when Amias was a toddler, and Avrid had raised the boy for 2 years. Let's see... received news his mother had been killed. Avrid had taken full custody. Received false news. Avrid had taken full custody of his younger brother. He could get whatever he wanted out of the out of this he could get whatever he wanted out of... we'll just use Amias again. With just a look. The young officer struggled with his loyalty to his mother and his fear of his brother. Eventually, reason won out, and he defeatedly admitted. They're headed for Cov Gildemore, the northern dwarf capital. Why? He chewed on his lips, staring at the ceiling, trying to protect his secrets, and failing miserably. Mom's supposed to meet someone there? The unsure tone Amaya's voice took made Avrid raise an eyebrow. Who? She never said, just said that it was someone from the war. Avrid felt his lip twitch. That confirmed it. The Gilded Paladin was back to her old antics and had dragged his sister into it. I'm going after them. What? The exasperation in his brother's voice shattered the calm he'd been trying to protect. I didn't stutter. Shattered the calm he'd been trying to project. My bad. I didn't stutter. You wouldn't go after them alone, would you? Unless you're taking leave. I can't. They won't let me leave. I'm supposed to be on deployment as of this morning. I got pulled back because you told them it was a family emergency. How is it not? Avrid looked to the sky for some kind of divine intervention, not that any would come. He knew their argument was probably echoing down those obnoxiously long stone halls. They're gonna be fine. She planned the whole thing. Amias was back to trying to placate his brother and keep him from making a rash decision. Who planned the whole thing? And for how long? The blonde dwarf would never be a poker player. He chewed on his lips way too much when he had something he didn't want to say out loud. Mom has been planning this for about a year, from what I know. Avrid wanted so badly to throw something. His fists were shaking. They are not going to be fine, Amias. You have no idea what that life was. He was thankful Flair wasn't allowed down here and wasn't there to ask questions, because he knew people could hear him now. Neither of you understand what kind of pain that life really brings. It's not glorious, just gory. Avrid. Amias let out a sigh, knowing he couldn't win this argument, and not wanting to have to explain this one to his friends later. If you're going to insist on going after them, at least let me prepare you properly. He walked over to his closet and opened it, pulling out a set of armor. This is my old set, but if you're actually going to consider traveling alone, it'll be better than nothing. Alright, we'll get rid of this. Well, actually... There we go. Actually, we're going to take that and put it... Nah, that's fine. Because we don't need all of these details just yet. We might just have to throw these into... Let's just throw them down here. Let's just all the way to the end. Oh, hey, look at those comments that I probably need to read. Thank you. Alright. Back to the top! Nope, that's not where we're at. We're down here. Down here. Alright. Gilded? Flair thought about it. Ma is a northern dwarf. It makes sense. She's probably got friends, a family there. The gravel crunched beneath their feet as they left the mining compound. None she should be visiting. Alfred was trying to plan his next move and really didn't have the patience for Flair's questions today. Why's that? The heavily bearded dwarf was thankful they were just far enough behind them to avoid their grimace being witnessed. He said too much. Most, if not everyone she knew up there is probably feeding the flowers, was the best explanation he wanted to give right now. Flair seemed to shrug it off and continue walking down the main road. Do you know which route they took? Alfred stopped walking. Every time he thought he was getting a step ahead... Route? He hadn't even considered that. He just intended to head straight for the northern city. What routes are there? A snort echoed ahead of Alfred on the path. As many as there are stars in the sky? Alfred wanted so badly to punch a wall. Or a tree. Ah. Or Flair. He could punch a tree. How would you go? Well, the easiest way is to take a boat to Gilded, then catch a ship up past Odin's Eye into... It's actually Toll Bay and into Gilded. Ship. That's right. His mother's hips could handle that. They'd have taken a ship. I'm about to go find out. Alfred now walked with a purpose past his friend and towards the docks at the station at Silverhorn. Flair turned on their heel and followed after. I'll go with you, if for no other reason than to protect the dockmaster. Their walk was only nonverbal for a few minutes before Flair was unable to hold back their insatiable curiosity. I'm going to actually just bring this on up because it's continued conversation. Nice armor. I didn't think I've ever seen you wear any. It's Amias's armor. Alfred really didn't want to talk. It fits you well. The bounty hunter was lying through their teeth, and the dwarf could tell. He attempted to just not respond and see if they got the hint. They did not. So they just up and ditched? Yes. But Ma's been planning it for a year. Apparently. And Ma took a hammer. Looks like it. Why does this all feel like a bad omen? You are really not helping, you know that, right? Hey, I'm just thinking out loud. Can't fault someone for trying to process. Alfred took a breath and continued down the boardwalk, looking for the dockmaster. Flair strode along with him, cloak sweeping behind them as they spoke from behind their helm. Flair rarely ever showed their face to anyone, let alone letting it be seen in public. If they didn't have a helm on, they wore a mask. Flair was practically an adopted sibling at this point, and just as annoying at times. Alfred didn't want to consider any omens. And this little sketch of Flair that Madison drew. This little Flair in their mask. It's a hardened leather mask to keep it light, comfortable, and breathable, rather than being the porcelain harlequin mask because, well, we're basically in medieval times, and porcelain is hard to keep from breaking. But I eventually want to try and add little sketches like that between all of the major, what's the word I'm looking for? All the major shifts in composition. And, like, yeah. So I am working on improving my own art to maybe do some BS sketches. But eventually I would like to be able to pay a proper artist to do it right. So let's continue, shall we? Silverhorn was a smaller settlement, housing about 3,000 people or so, carved into the white limestone and marble of the southern coast. It nearly sparkled in the light, giving it its name. The streets were filled with the hum of workers on their way home or on their way to an evening shift. Cart sellers had food and trinkets on the corners, filling the air not only with the scent of the briny harbor, but salted meats and fresh bread. Shops boasted more substantial wares, such as clothing or tools, in windows of fine glass. Silverhorn was known for their glasswork. And then this was me working in mobile, which means I didn't have the ability to tab. So we're going to see a few of those lines as we go through, and I'm just going to get rid of them as we find them. Avard was familiar with the docks up to a certain point. He was used to bringing crates of glass down for shipment. Bottles, spyglasses, eyeglasses, mirrors, you name it. Today, it was a glass patience he was delivering. That can actually just go right up there. The two made their way... The two made their way down to the docks. It wasn't nearly as large as the harbor at Cavdalon, but it had plenty of space for a few commercial vessels, and the occasional passenger ship. Maurice crossed his arms and stroked his beard when he saw Avard and the twisted look of concern on the younger dwarf's face. He already had a good idea what was wrong. Good eve, Avard. What brings you down here? Did my mother and sister charter a ship? Yep. Maurice hit that nail on the head. Actually, since this is a point of view ship... yeah. Yep. Maurice hitting that nail on the head. Helfrida hadn't been quiet about leaving. It was like she wanted people to talk about her leaving. The look in Avard's eyes weren't giving the dockmaster any confidence in his safety if he tried to sidestep the info. Last I heard, your mom and sister took a goat cart towards Lautra. They wanted to take a ship north, but there was a storm raging over Cavdalon. Last I heard, they got nearly 3 feet of snow, and even the mountain passes are blocked. Well, that's... inconvenient. Flair's wince was audible, thinking of all that snow. Maurice didn't exactly trust Flair. He didn't trust anyone who hid their face that much. Yeah. Helfrida had a string of curses when I told her we were anchored and waiting to see where that storm was headed. I'm not sending ships to Lautra if that storm is headed our way next. The ships couldn't get home. Avard held back a growl of frustration. So his mother and sister were traveling on foot. His mother, who couldn't walk, was traveling by foot. If they were ambushed on the road, they'd be defenseless. Did they at least have an escort? I wouldn't know. They didn't stop back by here after I told them a ship wouldn't be an option. Avard swore under his breath. You could swing by Clovia's. She would have been the one to rent them the cart. Thank you. The pair made their way to the livery in town. The Beastmasters Guild housed the most reliable mounts on the continent, even amongst the other kingdoms. Their rams were second to none. Second only. We'll just leave that be for now. Clovia was the one at the desk when they entered the guild house, and Avard explained the situation. Yeah, they were here. I rented them a cart and one of the bigger rams. They're supposed to drop it off in Lautra. Clovia read off the ledger in front of her, realizing that perhaps she should have asked more questions as to why Alfreda was leaving in such a hurry. Avard pinched the bridge of his nose, thinking, Clovia, I'm going to need your fastest riding ram. I'll be taking it to Lautra. Make that your two fastest rams, please. Avard looked over at Flair, who was already untying their purse to dig out the required silver. Are you sure? Like I could really let you go alone. You don't even know how to wear that armor! Alone. Avard turned back to Clovia. Do you know if they had any hired help with them? Bodyguards or escorts at all? Clovia shrugged. It was your sister who picked up the cart. I'm not sure who went with them. Avard was just getting more and more exasperated as this day went on. His sister was actually involved in this? She wasn't just a spontaneous tag-along? His mother had been filling her head with stories since she's been a child, and now... We'll be back for the rams in a couple hours, Clovia. It'd be safer to leave in the morning. No time. So, this is the end of chapter 1. We've got the little map kind of showing you where we're at right now. There's Silverhorn. Right here is where we are currently at. Where his family was supposed to take a ship was between these two here and up to Cav Dalan. And then from Cav Dalan, they would have gone north into this little bay here, and Cav Gildamore is over here. Instead, Avard just found out that his mother and sister have gone south to Lautra. It means otter in French, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. So, on to chapter 2. Right? Yeah. Yeah, on to chapter 2. Sweet. I do have that in here, right? Yeah. All right. All right. All right, so now in chapter 2, we're going to switch to Flair's point of view. I wonder if I should put their names on the chapters. What do you guys think? Should I? I'll start with them on there, and then... if you don't like it, we'll get rid of it. Alright, so I took a bunch of notes for Flair. Let me get the iPad back out. Let's see here. iPad is thinking, it's thinking hard. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Alright. Down to Gilded Paladin notes. Edit. You guys want to see this part? Let me see if I can do this. Hang on. Let me get... let's do this for a moment. Let's bring me back over here. I'm gonna put it in studio mode so that I can kind of plan this out a little better. Alright, because I need to shrink this down and see if we can bring this up. Because if I can share my notes with you, I will. You guys might actually like my scribbles. Ta-ta-ta-ta! Nani? Nani? Why are there... Nani? Fine. Stupid. Alright. And then we're going to mirror off to that. Alright. And then we're going to add in a capture. Ew, maybe not. Window capture. Yes. Existing iPad. Yes. Yes, yes. Ah! That's not where I wanted that. I want it over here. cool. All right, let's scoot it over here. And then we're going to take it back behind me. Ha ha ha. And then we bring this back up. Hey, there we go. Because then I'll hide it. Okay, so transition. Da, 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 da. We turn off studio mode now because we don't need that anymore. All right. This is Gilded Paladin notebook. I have a penchant for actually preferring to take handwritten notes. So, yeah. Yeah. Alright. Nope, that's not what I want. This is what I want. We want not this. Cycle 1. Nope, that's chapter... Oh yeah, chapter 2. Here we go. Right? Yes. Oh. Oh, we forgot part of this. Hang on. I just got... boop. I just got home from a business trip, discovers family's gone, begins a panic attack, he's a little brother, the problem is Mother Beast, his left letter is not reassuring, as he's leaving the house, go to chase after them, runs in a flare. Alright, they start with Amias, they go to the docks, they go to the Beastmaster. Alright, this is where we need to go back to. Alright, cool. Let me just set this up over here. Like so. I'm curious, if I flip this over, does it heck with you guys? Also, why did the cover never come off? For you? What is going on? What is going on? No. No. iPad properties. Automatic, match title, cancel. Okay, now it's working. Heckin' weird. Anyway. Also, let me go ahead and just... There's where we need to be working. And sweet, I can put this upside down. So that I can plug the charger into it if it starts getting low. It's not low right now, but it might get low. There we go. Alright, back up to chapter 1 then. Yes. I think y'all would prefer that view. Anyway. No time. Nah. Hello. What did I say that city was called? Caroline. Alright. So Flare is going to wander off. There we go. Yes. Ah! No! Okay, thank God there's a Control Z button. What even happened? Oh, it's because I forgot to turn that off. I hate my touchpad on my... I hate the touchpad on my computer. It's so neat. Alright. After Flare left, Oliver began the walk to the Glazing Guild. Glazer's Hall. We need a name. These people are amazing. They deserve all the credit in the world, not gonna lie. Oh wait, hang on. Now you can actually see it. There you go. I'll put it back in a minute. No! Alright, real names. They are off of... The Southern Dwarfs go with a lot of great culture. I got your number, Mojo. Anyway. I didn't know there was a woman's name. That's fine. Agathy. I liked Agathy. We're going with Agathy. Yeah, we're just gonna go with Agatha. Let me pull this back up now. Into a more visible... There we go. beyond. What's the word I'm looking for? Now we can start giving Offred's childhood. How many pages did this one end up? We're on page 13 of this chapter. Yeehaw! Alright. Yes. There we go. That's a little better. Bring it up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Wait, why is it frozen again? Let's try that and see if it makes a difference. Why is it not? Because it's working here. Let's try that. No, that didn't really help it either, did it? I don't know. We only have like 10 minutes left, so I'm just gonna run with it for now. All right. we go. Hmm. Yes, I am American, sorry. I forget that Americans use gray instead of gray. Some spelling differences I get. That one I don't. Alright. Took a deep breath. What's the word I'm looking for? Shift A, not Control A. Labyrinth. There's no reason to hide Balrid's name, because you already know that Halfried is a legend, so this is fine. Let's see. With name, Albert found out much later that his father wasn't even aware of their birth until his uncle wrote them to update him on his children. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Couldn't leave to retrieve them. There we go. Name of the pipe used to blow glass. Blowpipe. Oh, well. Okay, cool. That was easy. There we go. There we go. And that is the end of chapter 1, and that brings us to 2 hours and nearly 20 minutes, which I said I was going to stop doing. I said I was going to start cutting this at 2 hours, but hey, that's pretty good right there. We actually finished a chapter. I'm going to send this off to Kaya and be like, approve it! Approve your 14-page, 15-page paper. Chapter. Oof. So there's going to be a few things to add back in here. We're going to have to get the description of the family crest. We have to double check on Avrid's uncle's name. So, yeah. But that, I'm pretty sure that's going to wrap up chapter 1. It at least wraps up the skeleton of chapter 1. There may be edits that I have to make in the next session, but I'm thinking this is looking pretty good. So like I said, chapter 2, when we get to there, we're going to be working with Flair's point of view, which is going to be a lot of fun, I'm not going to lie. Flair is a fun character. But yeah. I'm going to wrap it up here and call it a night, folks. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. It's been a fantastic evening, and I hope you stop by again. If you want a chance to read this later, keep an eye on my Ko-fi. And we're going to call it a night, folks. Stay safe out there and have a good one.